Well, it's another beautiful day. Fall has arrived. We're getting some cool weather, and we're working our way backwards from Revelation to Genesis with some of my favorite sections of Scripture, some of the things that I think are really noteworthy. And of course, all Scripture is noteworthy, don't get me wrong, but there are some that stand out. And tonight's is probably one of the greatest ones that stands out to me. End times. Lois and I were just discussing today about the number of earthquakes and natural disasters, and how clearly the scriptures told us in the end times these things would increase, and they'd be in places where you wouldn't expect them to be, and that's exactly what's happening. But listen to this passage of scripture. It's one of my favorites in talking about the fact that we must be living in the end times, because it so clearly defines where we are today in America. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 through 7. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 through 7. But realize this, in the last days, difficult times will come, for men will be lovers of self, lovers of money, boastful, arrogant, revilers, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, unloving, irreconcilable, malicious gossips, without self-control, brutal haters of good, treacherous, reckless, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, holding to a form of godliness, although they really deny its power. Avoid such men as these. We certainly have been seeing that played out on television, with demonstrators not just protesting quietly and peacefully, but deliberately attacking one another. We've seen it in the days that have shown the division that has come into America over some of the basic issues, and the violence and the methods of trying to get their own way. Certainly, if you go back and read 2 Timothy 3, 1 through 7, you can't deny that we live now in a nation where all of these things have become true, and all of these things are being played out before us. It's a scary thing when you think about it. It's a good thing when you think about it. Billy Graham's wife has been quoted as having said, if God doesn't call judgment on America soon, he'll owe Sodom and Gomorrah an apology. And I don't think there's much that we would disagree with about that. We certainly have seen that. The last verse, for among them men who enter into households and captivate weak women weighed down with the sins, led on by various kinds of impulses, always learning, but never able to come to the knowledge of truth. We live in an intellectual, well-educated world, becoming more so every day. Always learning, but never able to come to the knowledge of truth. That God has a plan, a design, and it's a perfect design and plan. But we, through sin, have brought about brokenness. We, through self-desire and self-interest, have become a people divided by wanting what we want when we want it. Yes, we've got to be living in the end times. And that's my thought for the day. God bless you, and have a good day.